Okay, this is going to be kind of funny. I thought he was going to be playing a modern defense, and he is, but he's playing the double version. So double attacking my D pawn, got to protect it. Basic stuff. No knight to G4, so we play F3 to stop it. You know, pretty solid. Okay, I'm all for it. I'm happy playing this kind of position here. I'll castle. If he castles, I want to play bishop to H6. Oh, he castled all right, except that he castled into something different than he thought. He thought castling into it would be castle short. Well, castling long castles totally into it. Look at the defenses of Black's queen side, which is where his king is living. How many pieces are defending his king? Really just one. The queen is not doing anything. The knight is doing half of something, you know, looking at C6 that it can never go to. His other pieces are essentially completely walled off of the defense of the king. Brother, this is called castling into it for a reason. So B4. I'm going to go play B5, lock that down, then shove the A pawn right up there, double the rooks on the A file, and then play A takes B6. And he's just about toast. This is not rocket science. This is the most brute force mating attack that you can just about get. This is horrible, but he doesn't see it yet. Most likely. Because he would have done something different. So now, trying to generate some kind of garbage threat against my king side, he leaves F5 just about wide open. That's where I'm going. I could have played G4, but he'd have played H5. I'm like, let's not do that. So he thinks he's attacking. Whoa, not really. I'll take F5. Thank you, sir. He's like, move the bishop back. That's the only place you can go. Moving rook D to G8 doesn't really help. I would never take that bishop anyway. A bishop is, look at it, it's a tall pawn. The worst move that white could make in that would be knight on F5 takes that bishop on G7 because it's worthless. The tallest pawn on the board. That knight has got a killer position. So now that he's, you know, stopped his own king's out attack, it really wasn't much of an attack. But the hammer is coming. Knight to F4. Well, guess what? If you take my D3 bishop, I'm happy because I have... He's a tall pawn also, all right? We both have two tall pawns. The difference is he's going to get mated, and I'm not. So I don't care. And my tall pawn is not blocking my position like his is. Basic stuff. Rook to A2. If he takes my bishop, queen takes knight, you know, and that way I have coverage in all three ranks. And he took it, so I took it back. I mean, you know, that's obvious. He knew it was going to happen. He's not crazy. Well, he is, but he's crazy different. Oh, this is looking super ugly. Too late, baby. Bishop to A8 doesn't help because the hammer is coming. The hammer is completely coming. We take, he takes there. You know, if he'd left his bishop on G7 and played rook D, G8, his king could have, instead of playing bishop to C8, he could have played king C8, king D8, and just got the heck out of Dodge. At least surviving longer. what he did was never going to work. So, what did he do here? Oh, he took... Yes. I was ready. I was ready to take on A7, and then I decided to look at it, and make sure I couldn't do anything else. So, get ready to pause the video. And we're back. So, did you see what white can do that's better than rook takes A7? Rook takes A7 is going to end up winning if that's what you played, because he's got literally nothing. But there's something even better than rook takes A7. Crunchy. He can't take it. If he takes it, he gets checkmated. The most basic checkmate of rook A8 check and then rook 1 to A7. Yeah, that's checkmate because the pawn's sitting on B6. And the white squares are covered by my B5 pawn. So he can't take it. I mean, at this when you see bishop A6 takes B6 on the board, it's mega over. This is a fun move to play. Now it's just like, well, which move wins? I'll play rook to A7. So I don't even remember what he did. Well, he attacked my queen like that was going to do something. I was like, well, I don't have to worry about this queen. I calculated it. I'm just going to checkmate you. I don't even worry about that. I'm sure that was a shocker. Check. Yeah, I would say pause this and see what happens after the next move. I would pause it for every move for black so you can see yourself. Okay, we checked him on A8. He's going to play, we know he's got one legal move, king to B7. So after king to B7, pause it and figure out what you want to play after this. That way you can feel, you can see how it is to execute this attack yourself. Because in some point in your own games, you're going to get there, hopefully. So you pause it, I hope, and then have unpause it now to see if I did the same thing. Yeah, this move is pretty basic, but you have to do a little calculation. Not much. Because if you go rook 1 to A7 check, he's going to take your bishop. But that's okay. He takes the bishop. Pause it, figure out what you're going to do. And we're back. It's rare that you have this many choices. But you have two moves that just outright made him. Surely you saw one of them. I would think the easiest move to see of the bunch is queen to E3 check. The second move is just a cool move, which is the one I play. It just looks better. You don't get to checkmate guys like this very often. Knight to A4, checkmate. So this attack was very easy to play, but it's super instructive for you guys to see this. Not really a difficult one. And once you see the general concept that it was going, it didn't take too long, and it wasn't highly complicated. And the problem that was for black was that he basically had nothing that he could do to stop it. He did it. He really kind of did it to himself with the crazy opening selection. Let's go back here and zip through. He did the favor for us of locking the center up pretty solidly. with e5, and I'm like, okay, d5, and I'll just, you know, launch a wing attack because my pieces are centrally located and really could go either way without much trouble. But he did the thing you just almost never do in this kind of double fianchetto bishop, is that you almost never see black castle queen side, because he's literally castling into it, as the old saying goes. He castled into it, and no matter how good he is, he wasn't good enough, because it's super difficult. So like, again, I was threatening his king side. He's like, ha ha ha, I'm not going to go over there. I'm like, dude, that's the worst thing you could do. Because, like I said, look at this position. You should look at this and go, man, I'm going to shove that pawn on b5. And once that pawn gets there, there's nothing to stop a4, a5, a takes b6. You know, just double the rooks behind the pawn. Like I did. I mean, I did take a slight detour when he offered up f5 just in case. You know, there was no reason to go psychotically into a one-sided A-file attack when he's trying to generate this other business. So, you know, it's like, stop for a moment and secure your own king side, which is what I did with knight g3 and then, you know, knight f5. I was like, man, that's exactly what I want to do. Couldn't be, you know, after this point, it really plays itself, because he never had a threat. I mean, the last threat he makes in the game was knight attacks queen, and, you know, that never amounted to anything. He was just getting punched. He was just getting punched like Mike Tyson. You know, he was right there, and I just kept punching him in the face because he wouldn't defend it. So, you see it. It's just, there's nothing you could do. This is a nasty attack. And that bishop takes b6 is just the cherry on top. At that point, it's like, oh my God, it's over, dude. It's super over. It's not even a real sacrifice. Because a real sacrifice, you might have to, you know, come up with some other good moves. It's like, hey, you do it, you take it, it's checkmate. I mean, look. It's just a two-move checkmate. There's nothing he could do. So bishop takes b6 is a great move and very fun to play. But when you see it, it's like, oh my God. Bishop takes b6, pawn takes bishop, rook goes down, the other rook goes down, it's checkmate. So it's the lowest risk. You know, this is what is known as the demolition sacrifice. The demolition of the pawn structure just opens up, you know, the a7 square is toast. And there's nothing he could do. I mean, there's nothing anyone could do. No players could solve the problem of this position. It's just beyond hope. So, bishop takes b6. What a killer move. You know, he moves his queen. Whatever, dude. Actually, he didn't move his queen. He attacked my queen. That's the last threat he made. You know, he didn't really make any threats in this game, did he? He threatened my pawn in the beginning. Threatened to take on d4 here. That's a threat. That wasn't... He got close to threatening a bishop. He only really threatened one capture on d4. He has not threatened... Oh, man, this is terrible. He didn't threaten... He's not... Threatening to go to a square is not a real threat. actually, that's not a threat because, you know, it's guarded. The best he can say is that he threatened that bishop with capture, which he captured. And it was a bad bishop. That bishop is worthless. It was a super pawn. He traded a knight for a super pawn. If you get a knight on f4 as black, man, don't trade it for some super pawn white squared bishop locked behind a wall of white pawns. That's just a helpful hint. That was a bad move. Yeah, he literally makes 2 threats in the entire game. That's his second and last threat. And then he gets checkmated. So, man, you know, he didn't play horrible looking moves, you know, he hangs a piece left and right. But he got outmaneuvered badly. So hopefully this will be of some value to you so you can see, I guess, what to avoid, what not to do sometimes is just as valuable or more valuable than showing, you know, being shown what you're supposed to do. So hope you guys enjoy this game and you know what to do. Talk to you later.